Scootaloo
Damn it.
glanced backwards momentarily, her heart pounding. The noise of the constant thump 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 drowned out any other sound in her head, her ears throbbing along with it. The corridor was just like the one that led to the theater room, cramped, with dozens of obstacles jutting out at random intervals. Straight behind her, maybe 500 meters now, the bloody mare that used to be Rainbow Dash was cruising along herself. Both Pegasi were completely straight, hooves forward, wings beaten at an impossible count. One trying to escape, the other to capture. Scootaloo looked forward again, focusing on what lay ahead of her. That's all that matters, she thought. What's ahead of me? There's no changing what's behind me. Ignore it. Focus. For the second time in as many days, a flood of instinct overtook Scootaloo, and despite the terror she felt in her body, the sorrow that had surrounded her, and the evil behind her worries melted away, and the thought of flying encased her very being. Down under wires and pipes, she ducked, up and around various workers whose complaints and shouts were ignored, only to be repeated momentarily as the raging pony behind collided with them. Her body doing the flying, Scootaloo's thoughts turned to escape opportunities. She whipped around sharp corners at impossible speeds, zipped up and down countless sets of stairs, trying to shake her murderous tail, but no avail. She contemplated every nook and cranny she passed, briefly considering hiding. She struck that idea down. As insane as Rainbow Dash may be, she was still too smart to overlook any possible spot Scootaloo may be. But there, ahead of her, Scootaloo thought she found a solution. A garbage vent of some kind sticking out from the wall, down to the floor below. Momentarily she gave thought to where it may lead. Whether out of the factory or into some incinerator she couldn't tell. But it was probably worth the risk. She snuck one last glance behind her to make sure the unstable mare was far away enough. Excuse me. Rainbow Dash was paying no attention to any hazard as she sought her prey, tearing through electrical wires and ricocheting off heated pipes, going through any obstacle rather than around it to save time. But the collisions had slowed her down enough to give Scootaloo a chance. She slammed to a sudden halt over the open vent, hoping for her life. Fail, or fall. Why did I say fail? Fall, she muttered. Wow. Closing her eyes and her wings, resisting the urge to start flapping immediately. She counted silently to herself as shadows rushed past her closed eyes, hoping for the best of where this vent led. 1, 2, 3. She opened her eyes and her wings and looked up, hovering. Excuse me. Rainbow Dash was above, looking down into the vent. Her eyes were buggy and twitched, her hooves pounding on the edge of the vent. She was too large to follow, the filly having barely made it in herself. But then the anger in her face vanished, only to replaced by a malicious grin. She started laughing again, the cackling echo down the vent and reverberating in Scootaloo's mind. "You moron! You never did have a good sense of direction," she teased, laughing again. Scootaloo finally looked down, getting her bearings. "Oh no," she squealed. She was in the theater room again. Only by now it was full of suited ponies, circling her. Their masked faces seemed to be grinning at her as Rainbow Dash shouted orders down the vent. "Don't let her die! I must do it! Subdue her! Catch her!" she whined in glorious victory as the suits shocked Scootaloo with the taser as her limp body began to fall from the air. Excuse me if I start to sound like William Shatner. Anyways. Okay. Falling from the air, caught her and brought her body to the floor. Scootaloo blacked out momentarily as the electricity passed through her, but she came to lying on the cold cloud floor, metal shackles preventing her from moving. She struggled to get free. She could hardly shake. The chains lifted her slightly, bringing her small body eye to eye with the Pegasus in front of her. The pony was a deep blood red, glistening in the artificial light of the factory. Her mane had small spots of glorious colors of the rainbow, but was mostly the same red color as her coat of fur. Chunks of skin were missing from small spots, and her hair was ripped in some places, bald patches of skin in others. The only clue Scootaloo had as to who this used to be were the rose irises focused on her. Any final words, you miserable, worthless whore of a foal? Wow. Scootaloo brought her chin high, still demanding even the tiniest fraction of dignity. You have beautiful eyes, she cooed softly yet clearly.
And then
And that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote.
And my God.
Wow.